Hi y'all, this is Larry from Deep South Texas, and today we're going to talk about how I grow bananas here in Deep South Texas. So last spring my wife purchased 3 banana plants. She got them at Lowe's and we planted them the last day of March, first day of April, something right in there. Now when those first trees were planted, they were about the size of this pup right here, a couple feet tall. I'll try to get a picture of when they were first planted. Now, banana trees need a lot of water to grow, and the only place I really have irrigation in my yard is here in my garden. And I didn't really have a place to plant banana trees until this year. I had a huge tree growing in my garden providing some shade, but when Hurricane Hannah came through in July of 2020, it took this tree down. And so 2021 was the first real opportunity I had to plant bananas, and I planted them in this area where the tree was growing, where I couldn't have anything planted before. Now, this tree, we'll get a better shot of it in a little bit, but has grown to be about, I'd say, at least a foot in diameter right now in 8.5 months. Which is quite amazing. And it has started to produce bananas. Now, these bananas, this flower that shows up like this, I only noticed this a week ago. So it's hard to believe. I come in my garden every day and I didn't notice something like this growing until a week ago. And I could just begin to see these bananas on top poking out. So in the last week, this flower has begun to open up, and all of these hands of bananas are now coming out. So I can see about 9 of those right now, and there's probably, still a bunch that are going to appear in this flower. Looks like there's maybe 20 bananas on each hand, so I'm going to have more than 200 bananas growing on this one tree. Amazing. So we planted 3 trees back at the beginning of April. This one here is the one that's produced the flower and is fruiting. There's another one over here. I haven't seen a flower on it yet, but I expect to. And then the third one is back here, and I would expect to see that flower as well. From what I can tell, once the flower forms and starts to open, it'll probably take about 4 months for these bananas to mature to the point where you can eat them. And the time to harvest is when you have full-size bananas, and some of them have started to turn yellow and the rest are still a little green. Then you cut this whole flower stalk off and begin enjoying bananas and harvest them off the stalk as they turn yellow. Banana trees only produce fruit once in their lifetime. So once we harvest the bananas off of this tree, then we will cut this tree down and chop it up and throw it in the compost. The leaves we'll just throw down at the base of the banana tree to compost in place, provide that nutrient back to the new trees, and try to keep the weeds down a little bit as well. Now, banana trees produce pups. So this is a pup here, and there's one here as well. And actually this tree has got about 6 of them. I need to take some of those out. But when the banana tree, when the original banana tree comes down, we will save 1 or 2 of those pups to grow our banana tree for next year. So on this tree, it will probably be this one. This one will save for next year's bananas. And on this tree, which you can't see very well, this pup seems to be doing the best, and that will be for next year's tree as well. We might save 2 of them off of this tree. Let's see how it goes. Now these are Dwarf Cavendish banana plants, banana trees, and they're supposed to get 10 to 12 feet tall. So I'm 6 feet tall, and they're already way above me. So I'd say these are 15 feet tall. They really like where they're planted, and they're growing well. Now, pruning the banana trees is fairly simple. I just have an old kitchen knife here. It's turned into my garden knife, and just cut off the old leaves. It's pretty simple. You can use a knife. I've seen people use scissors, a machete, but really don't need that. Maybe a hacksaw or something when I have to cut this whole tree down. But fairly simple, easy to maintain. As the leaves turn brown or bend down too far, you just cut them off and throw them at the base of the plant. Pretty simple. The banana trees are extremely fun to watch grow and a pleasure to have in the garden. They start off with this sort of coiled up leaf that grows out of the center of the tree. And that leaf starts uncurling and not too long, and eventually you have this beautiful tropical looking banana leaves. You can cook with these, although I haven't done that yet, but it's really a pleasure to watch these grow in the garden. Now, my biggest problem with growing bananas here in deep South Texas is that bananas can't take any freeze whatsoever. So I'm in zone 9B. Typically, I'll get a frost 1 or 2 days in the winter time. Usually in January, beginning of February. Just a light frost, I think I'm going to be okay with growing these. But if I get a hard freeze, like we did last year here in Texas when the polar vortex came through, these trees won't survive. So the secret to how I'm going to grow bananas again next year, that's what we need to talk about. So hopefully you can see this, but the banana tree produces lots of these pups or suckers that grow off the sides of the main tree. So the secret is I'm going to dig up a few of these suckers and pot them up just in case we get a big freeze coming. And here is one I have already dug up and potted. So if the weather should turn bad and I need to protect this plant, I will move this pot into my garage for the day or two that it gets really cold down here. And then, should the worst come to worst and my banana trees die, at least I'll have something to restart with. Now, if you don't live in a tropical environment, you can grow bananas in pots, in a greenhouse, or in a high tunnel. They will produce fruit, and they probably won't get as tall as these. That's probably a plus. Again, these are Dwarf Cavendish bananas. There is, I did see there's something called a Super Dwarf Cavendish that's might even be better if you're trying to grow in a greenhouse. So might look into that. It's certainly a fun plant to add to the garden and to watch grow. I'm so happy that I was able to get these planted this year. So I highly recommend giving banana trees a try. It's been so much fun watching them grow this year, and I think I'm going to get some bananas. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it that thumbs up. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.